Welcome into the PHNX Bets Daily podcast presented by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Bust out your Pepto-Bismol, Valley fans, because we've got a pivotal Game 5 to discuss, as well as the NHL lottery with our precious, beloved Coyotes in the running for the top pick. No Shane today. We've upgraded in studio. Mr. Shawn, how we doing, brother?
I'm doing lovely, nervous for the lottery, but otherwise, and nervous for Game 5, but otherwise doing lovely.
Tom's, Pepto-Bismol, rinse and repeat, maybe a little OGs if you're so inclined. Yeah, it's a big, important game. It's a big, important day, and we're going to get you caught up here on PHNX Bets Daily. Yesterday, we had a couple interesting nuggets in the NBA. I was correct in my thought process, Shawn, of who was going to win each game. I did miss on a route for the Warriors. Let's go ahead and look at my picks from yesterday if we could. Celtics was easy money. That was free money. I felt like that series was destined to go 2-2. It's been the best series on paper game to game, Shawn, of any of these that we've gotten in the second round. I know, goodness, the Phoenix, Dallas series is tied. We've got some tied series, but watching the game wire to wire, quarter to quarter, this is the best one. Jason Tatum and company kicking ass, Jaylen Brown looking fantastic. And then the Warriors literally screwed around, made single-digit threes throughout that game, and somehow, like they always do, down, couple buckets under 3 minutes, they still win. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, I know this is something Shane said. I have to give him his flowers, but I also agreed with him. I don't think 10 points seemed far too much for me, even without Ja. 10 points this
after that game 3 though, where they lost by 30 points.
Yeah, but if there was a team that I think would rally, like really rally behind losing their star, it's the Grizzlies. Like they seem like they play really hard for each other, and I don't know. I just feel like the Warriors at any given time could kind of take their foot off the gas. So I just 10 points seemed a little bit too much. I never thought the Grizzlies were going to win, but I thought it was going to be closer than 10.
They should have won game 1. They should have won last night. John Morant plays. They probably do. That series, I think we can agree, even if it goes to a game 6, that series is over. And now we just wait for the inevitable, we hope, of a Western Conference final, Phoenix Suns and Golden State Warriors, which good hell, talk about loading up on antacids. Let's go ahead and look at Shane's bets from last night. I believe he doubled down on the Grizzlies. He did, in fact. So good for him. He felt good about their competitive advantage last night to be able to keep that game close. And then in Celtics Bucks, he took the under, which did not hit. It was well over 212. So 1 for 2 for both Shane and I.
The under looked good for a little bit, and then the fourth quarter came, and there was a bucket on like every possession.
Yeah,
it got a little out of hand there at the end as far as the over-under is concerned, but otherwise Shane did pretty well.
Yeah, I like to come out on a ledge, and I like to pick a winner every night. He does not like to do that. He does not feel good about that Bucks Celtics series to begin with. I don't think he's bet on it one time in the last 2 or 3 instances, so he can phase the over-under. That's fine. I come on the show every day. I'm going to tell you who I believe will win. I'm going to give you a rationale. Dante in the chat, let's talk about how Embiid is going to put up 50 after being snubbed of the MVP. I like where your head's at. It's trending toward my picks for later today. Before we get to that, Dante, we do have to recap our props from yesterday. Mine weren't good. I'm going to be honest with you. Jordan Poole, I think, was 4 for 12 from the field, potentially. Had 14 points, did not hit 24.5, and plus 250, whatever. Jason Tatum, he had a monster game. Did not come from the 3-point line, came from his field goals within the 3-point line. So I went 0 for 2. But Shano did a little bit better, Sean.
Shane kind of went off. Al Horford, 11.5 points over. That was free. That hit in the first half, I believe. He took that before Robert Williams was ruled out. Even with him playing, I think this would have hit. But after he was out, Al Horford had that easily and ended up having the game of his life, literally his greatest career and playoff game. I think he had 30 points, I think. And then Jason Tatum, he almost had this points and rebounds on points alone. He had 30 points and 13 rebounds. So Shane kind of went off on the props. They hit relatively easily.
No Chris Middleton in that series feels like it's inevitable that it's going to go 7 games and it's a coin flip series. I do think if Chris Middleton plays, I feel much better, obviously, about Milwaukee. And I absolutely felt like after Milwaukee stole game 3 that the Celtics were going to come back and win that game yesterday. And they were always kind of in control in the second half. Before we get to our picks today, I want to remind everybody the NBA playoff action is nonstop on the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. This week, new customers can bet just $5 on any team to win and get $150 in free bets if they do. Looking to turn a small bet into a big payday. We do that here on the reg on PHNX Bets Daily. You can do that in the NBA playoffs with same game parlays. Create your own parlay by combining multiple bets like which team will win, total threes made, total rebounds, and boom, you have a shot at an even bigger payout. Right now, all customers can place a same game parlay with 3 or more legs. That's 3 or more legs. You get a free bet, Mr. Sean, up to $25 if one of the legs does not hit. It's a call to action. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use that promo code PHNX, bet $5 on any NBA team to win their game. Get $150 in free bets if they do. That's promo code PHNX. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, 21 and over. Arizona only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customer only. Minimum $5 deposit. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. We've got Elon in the chat taking CP3 over on the points. I think a lot of people are digging on CP3. Big comeback game here in game 5. Before we get to our picks tonight, Sean, can you give us a little bit of a rundown? You're an NHL savant, right? You're a guy who's very up on the sport here in the Valley. The Coyotes, they're in the running for the top pick tonight. What do we expect to happen?
I mean, if you're going based on the history and what everyone thinks is going to happen, the Coyotes are going to get screwed. I mean, they kind of screwed themselves out of the first overall pick by winning games at the end of the season that they had no business winning. And now are the second seed in the lottery. The first seed just so happens to be a Canadian team, and not only a Canadian team, it happens to be the Montreal Canadiens, who, oh, by the way, are hosting the draft. So it seems like it's all lining up for Montreal to get the first overall pick. This isn't this obviously they want the first overall pick. They still kind of need to tank. The big prize, the golden egg, if you will, is in next year's draft, Connor Bedard. So even if they don't get the first overall pick, it's not really the end of the world. The worst they can get is the 4th overall pick, and the top 3 prospects are all centers, which is their biggest need. So obviously we're all hoping for the first overall pick, but even if they don't get it, it's not the end of the world. So let's. I'm not trying to go too apocalyptic for the Coyotes.
This feels like very similar to the NFL draft this year, where there wasn't a quintessential top quarterback. There's a couple interchangeable defensive, offensive linemen. Great article, by the way. Shameless plug by our own Craig Morgan. GoPHNX.com entitled "Winning the 2022 Top Overall Pick Isn't as Important to the Coyotes as You Think." You can read that right now if you got a spare 50 cents, $8.99. for the subsequent months, or just become a member, get a free t-shirt from the PHNX merchandise locker under $60. It's great. You know what also is great? A couple of game 5s. Which game 5 is first tonight? Do you know? Is it the Sixers Heat game?
I would imagine it's Sixers Heat because they're on the East Coast.
Yeah. So I would almost prefer the Suns be first, because if they take care of business like we think we do, you can watch that game too, and you can be relaxed, right? Have a cocktail, feel good about your evening. I'm not going to be able to think about anything watching this first game, Sixers and Heat with no Kyle Lowry, other than I'm thinking about how the Suns are going to play. So your best bet, I've learned in these scenarios, Sean, when you're distracted like that, is to gamble through it and do it on the DraftKings Sportsbook app and get invested so you can take your mind off things. So, Sean, take it away. What do you like for tonight?
I know this is one of your picks, but I had to tell you on it. Sixers money line plus 130. The fact that they're underdogs, I know it's in Miami, but it still seems a little ridiculous to me. Like, Embiid came back, and this is clearly just a very different series. Harden looked like old Harden in the last game, and then in game 3, the Sixers won by 20 points. Like, I think at plus 130, the value is there to take the Sixers money line, especially without Kyle Lowry on the Heat side. I just like the Sixers here. And then Dallas Phoenix over 215. The money line and the spread are worrying me a little bit here. I just think I think it's minus 250 for the Suns money line. I just don't like the value in that, considering how the last 2 games have gone. And then it's just a -6 spread. It worries me a little bit. Wanted to stay away from it. But I believe this is the lowest over/under total of the series so far.
Wow.
And like, when you look at the first 2 games in Phoenix versus the second 2 games in Dallas, it's kind of clear that the home team has kind of controlled the pace of those games a little bit. And when the Suns control the pace, it is a higher scoring game. So at 215, I like the chances for the over to hit there. But like friend Dante said in the comments earlier, Embiid got snubbed. I think he's going to go over, or I think he's going to go off. So I really like the Sixers, like I said. But yeah, those are my picks for tonight.
I think we're on the same page with regard to everything. And listen, I like that over as well, just because like the Suns are going to play their game, and I think they're going to win. I don't know if they're going to win convincingly, but if Dallas continues to shoot like they have been, especially beyond the arc, like that, there's not much Phoenix can do other than don't turn the ball over, be more efficient on your side of the basketball court. So I like those. Here are mine, very similar. I'm going to go Mr. Moneyline today on a pivotal Game 5 Tuesday. Shawn, for just your point of reference, when the Suns were tied up with the Pelicans entering that Game 5, I said, we're not going to screw around with spreads tonight. We're going to have good juju. Just give me the money line. They took care of business. They won the next 2 games. I'm going to phase it and do it again. So we're going to do Suns money line minus 250, which I think the spread's -6. It's just give me a Suns W tonight. I don't care if it's last second shot, although I prefer it be a blowout. And then the Sixers, we're on the same page. I never bought this Miami team throughout the year. They stunk it up in the second half of the season to begin. I think they're fraudulent. No Kyle Lowry is a huge deal. James Harden going off in that last game, renewed confidence.
Yep.
Hopefully the Heat fans are as, flaky as they've always been, getting to the stadium late. I would love for Embiid to kind of assert his will underneath down low like he did in the last game. So, it feels like we're on a collision course for, in my opinion, Sixers and Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's the matchup I think everybody wants. Enough in Milwaukee. The Heat don't do anything to move the needle for me as a casual NBA fan outside of the Valley. So that's what I'm hoping happens.
Yeah, I personally, like, when it comes to the East, don't really care. I would love for Giannis to win. Like, if it's not going to be the Suns, I would love for Giannis to win another like a Finals MVP, just become clearly one of the greatest players of all time, the greatest player in the NBA right now. I would like Embiid to get a ring. I would obviously, as an ASU guy, love Harden to get a ring. Have a soft spot for Celtics. I want Shane to eat his words and Jason Tatum to become to prove that he is.
I think we're already
overrated.
there. I feel like we're already there.
But I think if he wins a ring and potentially a Finals MVP, Shane has nothing to say at that point. But yeah, I agree that I think Shane's distaste for Jason Tatum has always been a little ridiculous in my opinion. But
you can't take a team to the Eastern Conference Finals and push LeBron and company to the brink as a rookie like he did and be considered overrated. I know the East has been down, but no, I would love to see the Celtics in the finals against the Suns. I think that'd be a hell of a matchup.
Yeah.
What do you like in terms of props tonight, Mr. Shawn?
I didn't put these on here. I do like the Embiid over on basically anything, whether it's points, PRA, points and rebounds. I think this is going to be, like Dante said, he's going to come into this pissed off. He's going to feel disrespected, and it's going to be in Miami. I feel like he's just going to assert his dominance, show everyone there that he was the best player in the NBA this year. So I do like that. I also do like the Chris Paul over on points. It just made me a little nervous taking it, just because I was like, I do think he's going to rebound, but I didn't want to put my money on it yet until I see him do it. But the one that I am taking is Jimmy Butler over on points, rebounds, and assists. Without Kyle Lowry, he is averaging 18 rebounds and assists a game. In the 10 games he's played without Kyle Lowry, where he's played at least 36 minutes, 18 rebounds, and assists a game. So then he only needs what? 20 points. Yeah,
He's going to get his regardless if they win or lose.
To get that over. He scored 40, 33, and 22 in the last 3 games against the Sixers. I feel like if he is getting those if he's getting those rebounds and assists like he has been in games without Lowry, the points will come. It's
going to be a gaudy statistic game for him.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to put up points and still lose. So I love the PRA there for Jimmy Butler.
He's going to have a Luka game 1-esque kind of performance where it's a bunch of hollowed garbage numbers. I do think without Kyle Lowry, this game is maybe even non-competitive. I would love to see the Sixers roll, and then we roll into game 6 and they can take care of business just because I'm so anti-Heat. Saul Bookman, the GM, in the comments saying CP3 is a no for me on the over. I tend to agree only because I think he's going to be the ultimate distributor tonight because he's got to get the rest of his teammates involved and going. And that plays right in to my props, Mr. Shawn. I think DeAndre Ayton has a monster performance. We've talked about it all series, how the Mavericks are soft underneath the basket. If DeAndre Ayton can get his efficiency going early and often, I think he becomes a force in this game. Obviously, with Devin Booker on the perimeter, 25 plus points at plus 500 was just too good. I think CP3, by the way, plus 25 plus points might be like 750 on the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Don't quote me on that. Go and check that out after the show. That plus money for CP3 point total tonight is incredibly high. It's enticing. I almost took it.
Chris Paul 25 plus points is plus 700 on DraftKings.
Yep. So I mean, that's telling. I think Vegas is telling us they think Ayton's going to have the big game. Isn't Kyle Lowry averaging only like 6 points per game in this series, Shawn?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the exact number is. Kyle Lowry's been playing kind of hurt, though. He hasn't been full health.
Yeah.
So the points aren't really what that did it for me on the Jimmy Butler thing. It's his lack of it's the assists that are going to be missing from Lowry that now Butler will pick up on. And then, like I said, he's been scoring 22 points, which is his lowest total in the last 3 games. Game 1 wasn't great for Butler, but since then he has been scoring. If he gets those assists that Lowry wouldn't be having, I think he hits that PRA easily. But I do like the DA thing. Like I said, Chris Paul. If you're not comfortable on the points, maybe go PRA, maybe just go points and assists. Because I do agree that he said he has to be better. I think he's going to be better. And even if that's not necessarily by scoring, I think you could get those assists and get the DA 25 plus points, and those kind of be the reason that each of them happen, if that makes sense. So I like, maybe if you're, like I said, if you're not comfortable on the points, maybe go PRA, points and assists on Chris Paul.
Here's what I also like. I don't know if we have the graphic for it. I think James Harden is due for another big performance tonight in conjunction with Joel Embiid. You can get him 30 plus points, which he just hit. Okay. And he tends to string these kind of performances together consecutively. 30 plus points at plus 750. So if you're in the camp that, like, I'm going to go all in with 2 players, the 2 point guards and Chris Paul, and with James Harden, you can get both of those and parlay those at what? Plus 1,500 on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Tremendous value. If you want to talk about adding legs to your parlay, go ahead, Shawn.
No, and then maybe throw in add a Sixers money line in there, Suns money line, and then like you have that promo, like you said. If one of them misses, you get money back.
So much fun gambling on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. What else is fun is tuning in to PHNX Cardinals Live later today at 4 p.m. Myself and Bo Brock talking all things Arizona Cardinal football. Again, we also have our draft or NHL draft lottery show. Shawn, you know what time that kicks off for us here?
3:30. The lottery starts at 4. So you know what you could do is pull up 2 windows side by side. Cards on one side, Coyotes on the other side. Just keep alternating between the audio. Maybe put the audio on both of them. Leave a like on both the videos. Comment on both the videos. Just join us. That's why PHNX is great. You can do it all.
It's the only place where it's a good problem to have. There's so much content. You got to have multiple screens. Unlike 99% of the other outlets on there, you can't find anything to watch. PHNX has got you covered. Again, go phnx.com. Craig Morgan and company do a phenomenal job getting you primed and ready for Coyotes later today. Shawn, it has been a pleasure. Be sure to like, subscribe. Do us a favor. Show a little bit of class. Leave us a 5-star review. We'll be back tomorrow, hopefully a celebratory Wednesday, as we've got our first overall pick here and a nice Suns Game 5 victory. But until then, peace, love. What is he saying in PRA? See you
Peace,
later, friends.
love, and PRA.